out of the way. Welcome to the DES NextGen race here at Homestead, Miami Speedway. Please remain off the track after the driver's meeting is completed. Tonight will be a total of 130 laps. We will have no stage breaks, one fast repair, 4 additional sets of tires. A few things to note: the only black flags will be cleared are passing under yellow due to wrecked cars and wrecking into the pits. We will not clear black flags for speeding through pits or unsafe entry or exit. During the restarts, keep the pack tightened up. Laying back to jump to start will result in a penalty. And when taking the green flag, you must maintain your line until you cross the stripe. After the yellow flag's out, you've safely made it through any wreckage. Please catch up to the pace car immediately to prevent delaying others. And when cycling through, green flag stops, state over the radio what your intentions are to allow others to move around you. Good luck tonight, guys. Have fun.
Welcome to the DES iRacing Next Gen race brought to you by TRN Racing Designs. We are here at Homestead Miami Speedway. I'm going to be joined in the booth by the analytical mastermind, Hunter Davis, and I'm also going to be joined by our great producer, Damon O'Brien. Hunter, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good tonight, Evan. Looking forward to tonight's race. We have one more race after this one remaining until we get to the next gen playoffs. So looking to see the guys around that cut line and how they're going to race tonight's race.
Yeah, they've got a spicy cut line battle going on right there. Jerry Bergeron is not here today, so he's going to drop out. That's going to allow Charles Connor and Sean Dion to battle. They have only a 2 point difference between each other. So they're going to have to work hard to make sure that they are above that cut line going into the final race.
Before we get too deep into points, let's go ahead and get out tonight's starting grid. Starting in row number 1 on your pole position, you get the 54 car of Tyler Waltz. To his outside, 73, John Crosby, starting in second. Row number 2, 35, Judson Curtis, starting on the inside. 13, Tanner Honeycutt, starting in fourth from the outside. Row number 3, the 68 of Tom Ringer, starting in fifth. His teammate 3 is Sean Dion, starting to his outside. Row number 4, 59 car of Matthew Tennant on the inside. To his outside, the 5 car of Brandon Hinton for TRN Racing. 43 of Hunter Cox with the Bayou Boys, starting in row number 5. Todd Perrott, Rat Fink driver, to his outside, starting in 10th. Another Rat Fink driver, the 56 of Mark Holloway, starting at 11th. To his outside, TRN's Racing, 67, Charles Connor, starting in 12th. Row number 7, you have the 32 of Jonathan Geist. To his outside, 23, Thomas Long. Row number 8, you got the 99 car of Christian Clark. Those are your guys that qualified. You still have more drivers out here on the field that elected not to qualify. At the 79 of Jordan Tross, the 4 of Chuck Burley, 57 of Chris Wagner, the 84 of Jeff Dinda, the 44 of Jeffrey Turbot, and the 63 of Craig Knoll, who elected not to qualify and will be starting from the rear of the field.
It's going to be an interesting shakeup for those guys who are starting from the back. This track is a little different. When you're in the Xfinity or trucks, it's tail end snapping around. But when I was out there running, I felt like the car was really tight. What about you, Hunter? You've had experience in these cars here. What do you think?
These cars can definitely be a little bit loose. This track will eat tires pretty quickly. So you'll see the guys that are pushing really hard, they'll start falling back pretty quick, versus the guys that are more conservative, sticking to that low line, trying to preserve their tires. You'll see longer runs.
Yes, sir. I like to hear it. And then, so focusing on our front two guys, we've got the 54 and the 73 starting on the front rows. Who do you think is going to get the better launch when the green flag comes out? And what do you think they're going to have to do? Do you think they're going to have to drive hard or not?
I think the inside line is definitely going to prevail on quicker tires as long as they can get it to stick there on the bottom. Usually that high line will start to come into play once tires start to wear. You'll see some guys start ripping around pretty early on, and then you'll also see their tires start to get burnt up pretty quick.
Yes, sir. And again, our sponsor today is the TRN Racing Designs. And our first car, the first TRN car with one of their designs up there is going to be that 13. He's going to be starting P4, so we're going to keep an eye out on him as well as the rest of the field because he's got a lot of hard hitters behind him as we're going green this time by.
And green flag is out. Oh, 54 turned around in front of the 13 car. Yellow, big stack up there, big stack up.
Oh, they're running in hard into each other. And driver's already mad. You can't be serious is the line that I just heard. That is crazy.
Well, I stand corrected. The outside line definitely prevailed there with the 73 car. It sounds like the 54 of Tyler Waltz accidentally downshifted.
Oh, yeah, we're
going to have multiple black flags. Sorry to cut you off. Multiple black flags throughout the field that will require clear due to passing under yellow.
I was want to cut you off, but we're going to take a nice little replay look at this again from the perspective of the 54 and kind of see what happened.
He called it over the radio, but he, instead of going from first to second or second to third, he went back the other way.
So we hit this replay. Let's see what happens right here. We're looking at it from a car far behind. Everybody's ready to go, ready to get, and he just doesn't move. And I mean, you can't fault the 35 for that. He was expecting him to go and just kind of ran straight into him. And I mean, that's an unfortunate situation, but oh my gosh, people are mad about that one.
Yeah, that's a difficult one. You know, nobody out here is perfect. We all do make some mistakes. It just so happened that he money shifted the car, and we'll see these guys stack them back up, get their repairs done, and get back out here.
It looks like it just kind of broke loose on the left rear, but hey, we're early on. It was lap 1. It's better to get it out now than later in the race. So that means these guys are going to be able to bounce back. A lot of cars hitting pit road, getting some damage repaired. They're going to have a long road in front of them. You got Brandon Hinton, Todd Perrott, Jonathan Geist. They're all in pit road right now. So we're going to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, definitely an interesting start to this one. I wasn't expecting that. You know, we have 130 laps to go. I was kind of expecting a little longer green flag run as these guys are starting to assess some damage, see what kind of damage they got and how difficult it's going to make them to maneuver this track.
Yeah, because the way I think about it, actually, before we get into more thoughts, we're going to take a quick commercial break and then come back and have some more conversations for you.
This looks great. This must be yours. I found it on the kitchen table.
Thanks.
Mommy, have you seen my hamster?
Well, isn't he asleep in his cage?
Have you seen my hamster then?
No.
Welcome back. We are back live as they're on the back straightaway. You know, the thought I was going to say is these next-gen drivers, man, yes, they race in other series, but it seems like in the next-gen car, they seem to be a lot cleaner than any other series. Hunter, do you think that's going to derail any kind of strategies that they had going on?
Maybe for the guys that were involved and have some damage for it, but I don't think it's too early to tell what kind of strategies these guys are going to run.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but you're smarter than me on this stuff. So we're about to get a green flag blowing. Let's make sure we notate the 67 as front end damage, but he's starting in that P7 position. And it looks like 7-3 gets a good jump on the 35. 68 seems to not go anywhere. So we're going to see what's going to happen here now as they battle for P2 position. Hunter Cox also involved in the battle with Matthew Tennant right there. They're all looking for position.
Yeah, I think now that we're going to get some green flag runs, you know, I think that these guys are going to start playing into the tires and how hard they want to push.
Yeah, they're definitely going to have to pay attention to their equipment and look at them all down towards the bottom right now. But Matthew Tennant's going to roll that high side. He's going to look to get around the 43, and he's going to look to put the 35 under fire, and he gets to his outside going into turn 1.
This is what I was talking about earlier. Is now they're now 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. A tight battle here. You're going to see these guys that are going to roll the top, and they're going to burn their tires off pretty quickly compared to the guys that are sticking to the bottom. They're getting out of the throttle. So, I mean, we're going to see a lot of give and take here. You know, the 35 just gave up 2 positions to guys running the high line. Let's see what happens. Give it 15, maybe 20 laps, and let's see where they're at.
You know better than anybody else, Judson Curtis is smart about his tires. So you saying that, I'm definitely thinking that's kind of what he's paying attention to, because he didn't put up much fight to them at all. He kind of just let them be there. But look at the 43. He's still going to roll that high side and going to look after the 59, and he's going to dart to his inside. I kind of think that might be a little tire scrubbing, but if he knows how to manage it, he's doing great.
Yeah, 33 with a huge run back to the rear bumper of the 43. Let's see what happens here. If they're going to go 3 wide, and 59 is going to get stuck behind the 43, going to give him a shot, and then try to come down on the 35, but he's going to get blocked up high.
43 is going to take that as an opportunity to go down low and get out of that scrubbing tire scenario. 59 is going to run that high side. He actually scrapes the wall a little bit. That might bring up the 56 of Mark Holloway up to him.
Yeah, we got a good little battle going on here. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these guys are able to maneuver this track, especially, you know, with playoffs right around the corner. We got one more race until we hit the playoffs, so it's going to be interesting to see how these guys play this out.
And, you know, great that you brought up playoff type stuff. Charles Conner has dropped all the way to P15, and Sean Dion is 2 positions behind him. So he's got to get that damage repaired and get going the right way. But we're also seeing Judson Curtis battling back on the 43 right now, going to the high side, and he scrapes the wall a little bit. Let's see if he can carry that momentum through.
So we were just talking about, you know, the points set up. Let's go ahead and get our point series up here, and let's see how everybody's sitting. You got guys like Tom Ringer, Brandon Hinton, Chuck Burley, Todd Perrant, you know, Mark Holloway, and Tyler Waltz, who are locked into the playoffs. Now, if you go back and you look at Tyler Waltz, Matthew Tennant, and currently Gary Bergeron, we bring 8 people on to the next series, but look at the guys below them. You know, Charles Conner, 1 point below the cutoff. Thomas Long, 13 points behind that. Tanner Honeycutt, 4. Craig Knoll, 4. These guys are going to be in a really tight battle, so these next 2 races for them are going to be huge if they want to make it into this playoffs.
Yeah, and I think they're already trying to do some kind of playoff strategies here because, again, remember, Charles Conner's only 2 positions in front of Sean Dion. That's not something he wanted to see. He wants to make sure he has a gap, a cushion, something good going for him. But he's definitely going to have his eyes looking at that rearview mirror, making sure that 3 machine is not rolling up to him.
And honestly, since it's the Next Gen series, we don't run any sort of stage breaks. So it's interesting to see, you know, how these guys are going to maneuver that. It looks like we got a car flashing out pretty bad. The 43 of Hunter Cox maybe having some internet connectivity issues.
Yeah, he disappeared pretty much that whole front straightaway, and I still have not regained visual of him. He's having a definite problem right now, so he's going to have to sort that out because if he doesn't, he might get an EOL. And there it goes. Hunter Cox of the 43 has been sent to the pits for connection issues.
He's definitely going to have to get that one figured out. I think I only saw him for maybe a few seconds out of that entire last lap. So he's definitely going to have to figure out what's going on so he can get back out here on the track.
Yeah, he's going to have to get that sorted out. It's definitely going to hinder him quite a bit. But John Crosby is continuing to lead this way. But Tom Ringer is not letting him get too far away. He's holding him about a second gap and looking at him. Judson Curtis is about 2 seconds off of him, so he's the second off Tom Ringer. And, you know, they're all right there. Then the next car is a second off of that, but he's having to look in his rearview mirror because Mark Holloway is right there.
Yeah, I think Tom's playing this smart. You know, let Crosby set the pace of the race. You know, if he's going out there and he's pushing super hard, Tom would be the perfect person to tell because he's going to be right behind him. So if Crosby's pushing super hard, Tom can see that. He can back off the pace, save the tire, and let Crosby's, you know, tire wear start to prevail against him. But, you know, trying to maintain that gap and keep that gap so when it does, he's able to pounce.
And, you know, you couldn't have said it better. He's definitely analyzing the situation at hand because one thing we've seen you know, over the last 5 weeks, let's just say over the last 5 weeks, for some reason, that 73 machine of John Crosby, towards the end of the race, he just appears. And so, you know, people are taking note of that. And they're going to make sure that they can counteract that ability that he has to just put himself in the right position. They're trying to learn from that. So Tom Ringer is doing the right thing. Like you said, he's observing, he's paying attention, he's allowing him to set the pace so that when push comes to shove, he's there to battle back.
As we now are 16 laps complete of the second to last race here for this Next Gen series. John Crosby still leading the way. Tom Ringer about a second gap behind them. Judson Curtis about a second and a half behind Tom. And then you got Matthew Tennant and Mark Holloway rounding out your top 5, about 4.5 seconds behind your leader, John Crosby.
One thing I'm noticing about Judson Curtis is he's hitting that high side. He's not caring about tire wear right now. He is trying to chase down that 68. Do you think that could affect the 68? If the 35 gets to him, do you think the 68 is going to have to go, all right, time to kick it in high gear and get towards Crosby?
Not necessarily. I mean, he's actually gaining a gap on Judson. You know, they were sitting at about a second and a half. They're up to about 2 seconds now, so it's still too early in the race. You know, if Judson catches me and, you know, I'm in Tom Ringer's shoes, I'm not going to sweat about it. If he wants the position, I'll give him the position. Because guess what? We still have 110 laps remaining in this race.
Man, I swear you have an innate ability to set it into a perspective that everybody can see. That was great insight. Now we got to talk about the points battle again. Remember, Charles Connor and Sean Dion are the two that are going to be battling the hardest right now. They are currently P13 and P14. Hunter, if you were in this situation, whether it be Sean Dion's spot or Charles Connor's spot, what would you be thinking right now?
I mean, for me, right, like, I would just, honestly, you have 2 races, guys. There's a lot of time left, and, you know, they're battling it out. So Gary Bergeron is on vacation, and he's already said, you know, he's going to miss the remainder of this season, which will allow Charles Connor and Sean Dion, who are the closest together. Charles Connor is 19 points away from Gary, which he will gain those 19 points in this race. Sean Dion is 1 point behind Charles Connor. So those guys are neck and neck, you know. So ultimately, you know, Charles needs to finish roughly a position ahead of Sean to remain in that position. But you don't want to count out the guys who are right behind them, you know. You have Thomas Long, who is 13 points behind Sean. Tanner Honeycutt is 17 points behind Sean. Craig Knoll, 17 points behind Sean. All they have to do is to have those, if they have any sort of issues and have to go to the rear of the field, you know, that's that differential, that's that gap. Or if they cut it down into half, they have another race to make it up.
And, you know, I think you hit on the head of the points battle right now. Yes, they have one more race, but here's where their problem's coming into this race. All 4 people you mentioned are P13, 14, 15, and 16. So in this type of situation where you're all sitting on top of each other and you know you need to gain, I mean, look at that. We've got them all in one shot right there. Actually, no, we've got everybody but Tanner Honeycutt right there in one shot. Are you going to let that seep into your mentality? Like, hey, man, I'm not getting away from this guy like I needed to.
Not necessarily, you know, because like I said, you don't have to win the race to be successful, right? You have to be smart about your maneuvers and make the decision that is going to benefit you. Now, when I say benefit you, that could mean 5 points, right? That could mean 10 points. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to take the points lead or, you know, the cutoff line away from him this race, but you're setting yourself up for the next race. So the more I remove out of this race, the less I have to do at next race.
I definitely get that. You definitely want to have your situation better for the next race. While we were talking, by the way, I just want to bring this up real quick. Judson Curtis caught and passed Tom Ringer. But Charles Connor is currently leading that group of people, and he's got damage on the front end. He is hoping for a caution right now, because if a caution comes out or he pits and takes anything damage repaired, that might help him out. Oh, I heard somebody say, did you save it? Jeff
looks like that 84. Looks like he was able to safely recover and keep it back there on the track. Maybe a little bit of left side damage there. This is what we were talking about. So when you're running that middle lane on the exit, we were talking about this earlier, you hit that little bump right there. And if you hit it just right, it'll break that right rear of the car around and it'll get you loose on exit. So you got to be careful if you're running the middle line on exit a corner.
Now, that damage that he just sustained, he maybe, I don't think he did, but he might have knocked some wheel damage into that left front tire, but it doesn't seem like he has, and he's able to continue on as normal. So that's a good thing. You remember, oh, caution out. We've got a caution. That's going to save a lot of these playoff battling drivers. It looks like it's something to do with Thomas Long.
Not quite for sure what happened there. It looks like he's got a lot of damage and has to tow it back to the pits. You see he's running that higher middle line. He brings it back to the bottom, and he's loose right there. Oh, and it just snapped right around on him, right into the wall. That's going to be a fast repair if I've seen one.
Yeah, it looked like he was riding on that seam. And, you know, sometimes those seams are treacherous because right at that seam, the banking changes maybe 1 or 2 degrees. And it looked like it caught him. And while it was sliding, he overcorrected it and just snapped it into the wall. And, you know, I've been there. It's not a problem. He's not any kind of bad person for that. We've all been there. We've all overcorrected. And it just kind of bit him right there.
All right, so we are roughly 30 laps into this race. We got about 100 to go. I think we're going to see the first takers to come grab some tires and kind of gauge where their tire wear is at for this race.
I think everybody's going to hit pit road right now. I think every single car is going to be on pit road and is going to try and see where they're at and understand what they need to change. Because even Crosby's going to have to hit pit road right now. And there he goes, late entry into pit road, but he was there.
So while we're under caution real quick, I want to go ahead and give DES iRacing League a shout out. You know, if you guys are looking for a new league, for those of you that are watching the stream, if you guys are looking for a league to run, you can head on over to racedes.com. That is racedes.com. We run the ARCA series on Wednesdays. We run a GT3 league on Thursdays. Fridays is our next gens. Saturdays we run 2 truck series. Sundays is the Xfinity series, and we also have a brand new league that'll be coming, or a brand new season that will be coming to the league of the LMP3 cars. So if you're interested in running any of those cars, you're just interested in chatting with us, you can head on over to racedes.com. Hop in the Discord, hop on the track, and we'll see you out there.
Make sure you hop in for also our exhibition races. I mean, we ran the Indy 500 before. We've ran multiple types of races, things that you wouldn't expect to happen. So be sure to go to racedes.com. Just got to build off of you there, Hunter. That was perfect what you said.
Also, I don't want to leave out, we do run the full-length series races as well, which are an interesting caveat when we have some holiday weekends off.
They're always fun, you know. Full-length races are different. Like, you know, we're at 130 here, but there was a time, if I remember correctly, we ran, 267 laps here or something in the truck series, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, you didn't expect it to go that way, but oh my gosh, I loved every second of it. I made it all the way to the end. Crosby is going to continue out in the lead, but Tom Ringer did jump Judson Curtis, but also we got a new 4th place contender, Todd Perron. His teammate has got up there. Matthew Tennant is also going to be in P5. That's our Beer Run Racing representative right here, right now in the top 5. Jonathan Geist, TRN driver in P6. In our little slideshow, you'll see some of the paint schemes he makes. And then we've got Christian Clark, another Beer Run Racing driver. Jeff Turbett, TRN dude. And it's going to be a great time.
So while we got the slideshow running, I do want to give a huge shout out to TRN Racing and Designs for sponsoring this weekend's set of events. And it's not just them. So we have Rat Fink Racing sponsored last weekend. We had Darts Without Feathers sponsored the weekend before. So it's good to see these guys that are coming out here. They're racing these tracks, and they're being a part of the league, but they're also giving back to the league. So even for those of you that are in the Discord, if you got a sponsor that you want to get up here on the big screen, you want to get it out for the world to see through the YouTube, you can also hop in here and just chat and be like, hey, I want to sponsor a race, and get your company or your sponsor or whoever you want out here to sponsor. As we are now back to green flag racing, you got the 73 of John Crosby setting a good gap on the 68 of Tom Ringer, about a 0.3 of a second gap. Judson Curtis following up about a half a second back. Todd Perrant 0.3 behind them.
Notice Judson Curtis is in the P3. Matthew Tennant has jumped to P4. Todd Perrant down to P5, but he's got a teammate following in tow in P6. But one guy I definitely want to highlight is that 44 of Turbin. He is a road racing guy, and look at him up here battling P7 right now. Just got passed by Mark Holloway, but that's a good turnaround for him. He's doing a great job out there.
As he scrapes the wall a little bit there, but absolutely, I mean, these guys are starting to learn, and you know, I was talking to Jeffrey. Jeffrey and I are real good friends, and I was talking to him and explaining, you know, you got to get out here, and if you can learn to do this, it will also help you increase your road racing skills. Because we have guys out here of all skill levels. You know, we have guys out here that are phenomenal road racers and would, you know, put bus lengths on any other cars when you go to a road track. And then they come out here on ovals and they struggle. But it's like kind of finding that medium balance in between the two that'll really help these guys succeed in both.
Oh, as we're talking about him, he's snapping loose. Is he going to save it? He does. That's amazing. To save that, that's that road racing skill right there. I don't think I could have saved that, Hunter. Did you see what he just did there?
Yeah, that was a crazy save. Absolutely sideways off the exit of turn 2. Does not even make contact with the wall. Comes inches from the wall and saves it. That is phenomenal driving by the 44 Jeffrey Turbin.
I'm going to have to call that the save of the race right now. Currently, that is our save of the race. If somebody else does something there... Oh, he's off again, and he hits the wall this time.
This time, not so lucky. Looks like that hood is up. He's going to have to be careful here, keeping it off of the racing surface and getting it safely back down to pit road so he can hit that fast repair.
And he's going to hit that fast repair. He's definitely going to fall around where Tanner Honeycutt and Thomas Long are, because Tanner Honeycutt's a lap down. Thomas Long's 3 laps down. So we're going to see some interesting developments here. And also, by the way, those lap down people have some playoff implications as well.
So, you know, we've talked about all these playoff points and stuff like that. I want to get the chat involved. So if you guys are out there watching this, you know, drop some names in the chat. Who are you rooting for to advance below this cutoff? We have like 5 guys within about a 20-point gap of each other. They can all change within this race. So if you guys are out there watching the chat, you know, feel free to drop something in the channel or drop something in the YouTube chat.
Well, Ryan, I see you said what happened out there. I'm going to have to say he caught that bump twice. And, you know, the first time he saved it, thought that he could continue running the line, caught it again. It probably launched him down in that wall.
Sorry to cut you off there. He was talking about the initial restart whenever we had the downshift.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, sorry, Ryan. I saw that earlier. I forgot to respond. We had a downshift on the restart. Some guy went from the Tyler went from the wrong gear, instead of upshifting, he downshifted.
Now, again, talking about playoff implications, because we do want to talk about that a lot. Thomas Long was 13 points off of P10, okay? Which means that he was 14 points off of P8, where they're going to be. Him being 3 laps down, if Sean Dion or Charles Connor finish further ahead of him, they're expanding the gap. But right now, currently where he's at, where Sean Dion and Charles Connor are, he is closing that gap.
Sorry to cut you off there. 35 of Judson Curtis lost a couple positions of Tom Ringer and Matthew Tennant. It's completely sideways on the exit of turn 2. Does manage to save it and keep it out of the wall. He will succeed those 2 positions to the 68 and the 59.
That's just a smart move. I even talked to him before this race. He said, I don't know these cars. I don't have a lot of practice in these cars. So he's running up front. Oh, right there. You see it right there. He kind of just pops the rear end out.
Watch him. He'll see it, feel it start to step out. He'll get out of the throttle, start counter steering. It bobbles up, and right there. Back to the throttle. He will give up those 2 positions, however.
He definitely hit that bump and then chose to not touch the throttle the whole time. That's a smart move. That's why he's a good driver. Jeffrey Turbot, only 1 lap down, by the way. Let's throw that out there, too.
Let's talk about some of our big movers out here tonight. You get the 4 of Chuck Burley, currently running in the 5th place position, gridded in 17th. Todd Perrott, gridded in 6th, gridded in 10th and is up to 6th. You got Craig Knoll in that 63 car, who is currently running in 8th place position and gridded in 21st.
Yeah, these guys are definitely figuring out this track, and they're definitely finding ways to move forward. You know, Chuck Burley, probably the biggest one, as he's breathing down he's not quite breathing down the neck, but he is going to get there eventually, and he's going to be looking at coming after Judson Curtis. He's about a second off of him.
We are now almost 41 laps complete of 130. John Crosby still leading the way. He gridded in 2nd, was able to take the lead after that initial caution, and has not given it up since.
You know, we got to shout out John Crosby, man. He's been leading pretty much all this race, and it's impressive. I mean, you got a lot of heavy hitters behind you. Tom Ringer's not letting him get away, but Tom Ringer's also not closing the gap. He's actually losing a little bit to him right now.
You know, a few guys I do want to give a shout out to. So after that initial caution, you know, we had a lot of guys who were involved in that. And, you know, Tanner Honeycutt started in 4th. He's currently running in 17th, 1 lap down. But look at the resiliency of the 5 car of Brandon Hinton, the 32 of Jonathan Geist, both involved in that initial incident, who had damage and has driven back up to 8th and 10th place, respectively.
Yeah, those guys, Jonathan Geist, he has a knack for finding consistency and moving forward. Brandon Hinton, we know he's a proven guy. He's the original Next Gen Series champion. We know he has the ability to do it, but it's impressive to do it at a track like this, where, as we've already noticed, after you get a few laps under your belt, passing becomes almost impossible. These guys have to pay attention to their tire wear more than anything else, as Tanner Honeycutt is now going his 2nd lap down to John Crosby.
He did not seem too pleased about that one, but he's definitely going to be able to make this up. He's got to stay smart, you know, play a good strategy that will allow him to make it back into this race. Recovering from 1 lap down can be fairly simple. 2 laps down becomes a lot more difficult.
You know, I've been in that position
before.
before.
68 car loose. Good save. A lot of guys coming over the radio congratulating the 68 car on that phenomenal save as he was facing that inside retaining wall.
And he had just passed the 13 and still had that issue. But, the 73 almost had an issue getting around the 44 just then. He had to go all the way down to the apron. Something was going on there.
44 car having some issues. Looking like he's going to bring it down here onto pit road. Not quite for sure what sort of issues he's having. The car doesn't look to be too damaged. There it is. That right front is caved in.
Yeah, just getting into that wall. But, you know, again, I feel like it was probably a situation where he was like, I'm good. I can figure it out. I can push a little bit more. And he found his limit. And, you know, nothing wrong with finding your limit. Finding your limit is a good thing because you can find it, figure out how to get past it, and then go faster. So kudos to him.
John Crosby continues to drive away from the field, now up to a 2.3 second gap over second place Tom Ringer. Judson Curtis 3.3 seconds behind. And then you got Matthew Tennant, Chuck Burley to round out your top 5.
But it also looks like Judson Curtis is kind of catching Tom Ringer. He's 0.4 of a second behind him right now. So Judson is getting even closer. He's 0.2 now. Look at him right there on top of him.
35 is going to try to roll that high line. I think he's going to be able to get to that rear quarter panel here on exit. If not, he's going to have a really good run.
I think he's going to get him on the back stretch. As he goes to the high side again, he's definitely going to get him on the back stretch because you saw how that run worked for him. It closed him up to him. But now we're coming back to another drag race setup. Tom Ringer goes, hey, I know you're going to get past me. Go ahead and take the spot.
68 goes back low. 35 is staying high.
And the 35 is going to carry on, get back into that P2 position. But he's almost 3 seconds down on John Crosby. So Crosby is definitely controlling this race right now.
99 of Christian Clark loose there off of turn number 4. Able to recuperate. It looks like that car's got some pretty significant front end damage. I'm wondering if that's from the beginning of the race here, as he's now in a battle with the 23 car of Thomas Long. I'm sorry, Thomas Long is currently 3 laps down, just running behind the 99 car.
Well, talking about another guy in it, Craig Knoll, he was involved in that playoff battle. He was a little further outside looking in, but he has called it quits for the night. That's going to put him to a deficit going into the next race at Auto Club.
You got the 84 of Jeff Dad Dinda out here, who is now past Sean Dion for the 13th place position, is currently on the lead lap. And that bright green number 84 Chevrolet.
Now, talking about that bright green Chevrolet, he's out here learning, okay? He has already stated he is learning, and next season he's going to come out and he's going to race harder, and he's going to go for actual points and be competitive, right? But in this moment, even though we've already seen him become an amazing driver and become next level, him passing Sean Dion puts Charles Connor into the playoffs by 1 point.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting perspective to take on this. You know, and he definitely has improved. He started out, you know, running part-time for his son who races in this league, and you would see him for the races that his son couldn't attend, he would step in and he would actually fill those shoes and race. So now that he's got his own setup, he's actually been out here running every series with us every week and practicing, learning, you know, taking that mentorship from guys that he's racing with around and improving his own craft.
We definitely want to give this shout out here. Thank you for DES iRacing and presenting Jeff Dinda with a chance to come compete with us and learn how to race around other people, because you could definitely tell he wanted to. He didn't want to be a back marker. So appreciating DES iRacing for helping this man to get into this position, because look at him. He's passing heavy hitters right now. Sean Dion is a guy that is known for his consistency. He is almost to Christian Clark. He is trying to get to him. Christian Clark, another extremely consistent, extremely good driver. So that's awesome. That's to show that we are very oriented about our drivers and everything like that. So again, make sure you go to racedes.com. We will help you become a better driver. We will help you learn the tracks. And we've got plenty of people who would love to sit down with you and do some hot laps. So great job on Jeff Dinda putting all that stuff to work.
Yeah, you know, it's good to see things come to fruition. You know, I remember when I first started in this league, and you had a lot of guys that were first starting this league, the mentorship, right, and just the friendliness of everybody in the league, you know, willing to help you guys out, you know, answer questions that you have, you know, give advice for certain tracks or certain instances, right, how to adjust brake bias, how to set up setups. So, you know, it's cool to see everything come together, right, and as these guys are in a very fierce battle for the playoffs, everybody is still willing to help each other out.
And I agree with you on that 100%, because I'm still learning. I've got the speed, I've got the racecraft, but for some reason I'm way too aggressive. So I appreciate DSI Racing and telling me, like, hey, tone it back a little bit here and there and stuff like that, and it'll make me better. I would have never had my first league race if it wasn't for these guys, especially you, Hunter. So again, Let's get back to the race action. We're currently looking at Tom Ringer following Judson Curtis. He hasn't let him get away.
One thing I want to point out, we were talking about, that first race incident, some guys that had damage. Brandon Hinton has now moved up to the 6th place position. He has gained 4 positions since we last talked about that. Our reigning champion who actually won the championship here last year at Homestead Miami Speedway.
And it's a great thing that you brought up Brandon Hinton, because I want to bring up the guy who's right behind him. The guy who started on pole and spun immediately and had that issue. It happened. It's whatever. We're not going to talk about that part anymore. But look at him. He has bounced back to P7 position, and he's still trying to work his way towards the front. So kudos on those two guys in the P6 and P7 position, because they are definitely moving forward. But Crosby, he's owning this race right now. Fun fact about Crosby, before you say anything, Hunter. Fun fact about Crosby. Crosby's first ever win in DES happened on this track in the NextGen car when Hinton won the championship. That was Crosby's first win.
And as of right now, he is continuing carrying that momentum. But look who's right, not necessarily right behind him, but look who's closing that gap there right behind him. 35 of Judson Curtis has now got him down to 1.4 seconds.
Yeah, he didn't have Judson there when he won that race, so he's definitely paying attention. But, you're the analytical guy, you're the strategist and everything like that. You help us out with a lot of strategies. Do you think Crosby's backing up his corners?
Honestly, it's kind of hard to tell. This track is very high speed, as we have the 99 of Christian Clark calling and pitting, looking like we're hitting our fuel window right here. Wasn't quite for sure where they were at, as they are now 61 laps complete.
Now, it's very interesting that he's hitting pit roads, because his teammate is the 73 in the front, and he has not made any call that he's pitting. But now Matthew Tennant's also going to pit road, another teammate of the 73. So maybe their communication might be a little lacking, but maybe they have an idea and they understand these guys need to pit earlier and he needs to pit later. So they're probably thinking about something.
We got some cars exiting off of pit road. 99's off, 59 is on.
And I think the 44 called it quits because he's 17 laps down towards where Craig Knoll is. And it might be a little hard for him to rebound from that. But even finishing P17 is going to be a benefit for him.
We got some more cars on pit road, looking like the 56 of Mark Holloway, the 23 of Thomas Long, both elected to start their green flag cycles.
Looks like Judson Curtis is closing that gap. He's running that high line. He is closing that gap on Crosby. He loses time to him on entry, but on exit and stuff, he is gaining so much time.
We were looking at about a second and a half earlier. We are now down to 0.8 of a second. He is slowly starting to run that 73 car down.
Do you think the 73 is worried about that? Do you think he needs to start thinking about pitting? Because that 35 is there. I mean, look at him. He didn't lose any time on the back stretch, and I don't think he's going to lose any time on the front stretch here either. I mean, he lost a 10th in the corner, but look at that. The 35 has dropped it by 0.2 from that point.
You know, if it were me, I would wait until that 35 car catches me, and then I'm pitting.
Yeah, really throw him off and cause him to have to be in a slower pit cycle, because they're both 38 laps on their tires, including Tom Ringer, who is in P3. They're all 38 laps since the last time they hit pit road.
Well, if you also look at it, you know, as I was talking about this earlier, as the tires start to wear, you're going to see cars start moving to that high lane, because that's going to be where you're going to find the most grip and the most speed. That 73 car is, you know, sticking tried and true to this bottom line. As he corrects me wrong and runs the top.
Yeah, he literally just did the opposite of what you said, but you were right. He was tried and true on the bottom, and now he's moving up. Is he going to move up in 3 and 4 too? He does as well, and that's going to allow him to hold Judson Curtis at bay because now they're running the same line. He's actually gaining on him.
We got the 5 car of Brandon Hinton has now worked his way up to the 4th place position. He got around the 4 car of Chuck Burley.
You know, that's a scary group to have right behind you. Behind the 5 car is 3 Rat Bank drivers. You've got Chuck Burley, Tyler Walton, Todd Perrant. They're all right there. And then behind them are 2 TRN drivers, but they're so far behind, they're not coming into play. So he's pretty much on an island with 3 hungry sharks right behind him. Even Mark Holloway's there, even though he's 2 laps down. You know, you've got some hungry sharks right there.
Kind of curious to see when we'll start seeing our next round of green flag cycles. You know, we still have a lot of guys who have elected not to pit and are still out on the original set of, the set of tires they took at lap 30.
And one of them has to be Crosby because he went to the bottom in 3 of 4, but he's now back on the top side of 1 and 2. So he's definitely trying to keep Judson within that second window and hold him off and be able to drive as hard as he can. Because see, he goes to the bottom in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. But in 1 and 2, he's back up to the top side. So he's doing everything he can to keep that 35 behind him.
Now looks like he's holding them about to, as the 35 now goes to the low line. I was just going to say, it's looking like he's holding them right about a second gap or so. Let's see what kind of run he gets off of 1 and 2. And actually, the 35 car is going to start pulling up to him as they get this run there onto the backstretch.
They really got to start thinking about pitting because, and now they swap again. You know, you called it out perfectly. 1 and 2, the 35 went low and the 73 went high. But then in 3 and 4, they swapped, and it's allowed the 35 of Judson Curtis to get closer. He's getting closer and closer every lap. This is going to be an interesting battle here.
You know, that's kind of my preferred line here is once the tires wear, I'll go to the top in 1 and 2, and then I'll stay to the bottom at 3 and 4, just because of how tricky it is on the exit of 4 with the banking differential.
Yeah, I'm not a high side runner. I hate that stuff, but it's awesome to see somebody making it work. And you know, you're one of those guys who make it work, and so you have a lot to say about this. As Crosby, this is only his 3rd start in the Next Gen series, so he's not looking to make the playoffs. He's here just to get race wins.
And there it is. As the 35 gets to the rear bumper, the 73 is going to pit.
And you called it out perfectly. He put the 35 of Judson Curtis in a position, and 35 is going to pit as well. 73
around.
On NG.
He keeps it out of the wall. Looks like he's able to and he loops it around again. That is not what the 73 car wanted to see.
It's not at all. He definitely put himself in a bad position right there. You called it out perfectly. He was waiting until the 35 of Judson Curtis caught him, and now Crosby is going to reap the problems of it. But look at this. Look at how many cars are hitting pit road now that they see the lead 2 cars hit pit road.
So one thing that's going to be interesting is I don't think that 73 car got down to pit road speed. You know, I'm not a mathematician, but he looked like he was pretty quick there entering pit roads.
And he is still sitting on pit road. So could he be serving a speeding penalty right now?
It looks like he is.
Yeah, and that allows the 68 of Tom Ringer to take over that lead spot.
Yellow flag.
Oh, we got a caution. What brought out the caution? Charles Connor on pit road.
23 car of Thomas Long is around. Yep, looking like the 23 of Thomas Long got loose on the backstretch, saved it, and then got loose again in 3 and 4 and was not able to save it.
He didn't even make it a 3 and 4. He just snapped loose and
Now,
stopped that car on the track. That's enough to cause a caution.
Sorry to cut you off, but one person this is really going to help is that 73 of John Crosby. Since he started serving his penalty, he is now going to be allowed to continue serving his penalty, and it will not require him to go back down and serve, even though we're under now yellow flag conditions.
Yeah, but that puts him 2 laps down, and there's a lot of lap down cars now.
So the 23 saves it and then gets back on the throttle and goes back around again.
Yeah, he's on the apron, goes to throttle up, clips that white line, and snaps him. And he goes and hits that outside wall. That's going to be an immediate caution, stopped on track.
A lot of takers here on pit road. The ones that benefited the most are the ones now in the pits, which looks like primarily Ratfink Racing. You got the 5 car of Brandon Hinton is also up there in that mix.
Massive shakeup here. Oh my gosh, this is going to change everything. Our dominant car is 1 lap down, so we're going to be looking at some crazy stuff going on.
Lucky for him, though, he did take tires, he did serve his penalty, so he should be getting the wave around here.
Yeah, potentially he could get the wave around, but we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll revisit these guys once we're done with that. We're going to come back with a lap before they go green.
Thank you, Agent State Farm.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Cut. Hey, Arnold, I'm hearing neighbor. It's neighbor.
That's what I said. Neighbor.
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 Hey, let's go again.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Cut.
Now what?
It's neighbor.
Neighbor!
Cut.
Neighbor.
Yeah, neighbor. Just like it's written on the paper. This lady is in labor!
Cut.
Look at this. This is labor. Like a good neighbor. That was the sheep. And you know it.
It's like you're cold. Brr.
Yeah, I'm cold. Bah. Neighbor.
Still no.
Like a good neighbor.
Cut.
Burr.
Bah.
Burr.
Bah.
Burr.
Bah.
Neighbor.
Neighbor.
Burr.
Bah.
Burr.
Bah! Get me under this chopper.
It's pronounced chopper.
Don't.
It is.
Neighbor! A little bit more concealer.
Hey, Arnold. It's got a bit of a script change.
Script change.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mike, I know you think your truck is totally sick, but this is what I think of your precious 4x4 hang out all day with your stupid friend's truck!
And we are back. Sorry for the delay there. We were working on some technical difficulties. We had a lot of cars that kind of had to start single file just due to the restart factor. The 73 of John Crosby is currently the first car 1 lap down. Looks like he's going to try to race his way back to the front and unlap himself the old-fashioned way. This new leader, the 68 of Tom Ringer. You get the 5 car of Brandon Hinton behind him, who was able to recuperate from that initial wreck to start the race. Looks like he's going to get...
Go ahead.
Then looking like he is going to get passed by the 54 of Tyler Waltz for that second place position.
73 is doing things right. He has put himself as the first car a lap down. So if another caution was to come out for some reason right now, he is in the prime position to get his lap back. That would be a lucky dog, and he did everything right.
I just want to point out, look at our 4th place car. The 84 of Jeff Dadinda has played the strategy right and has made his way up to the 4th place position, right in front of the 35 of Jetson Curtis.
Is it me, or is he running that car faster than we've ever seen? He's such a nice guy, and he's so patient. But now look at him. He's driving that thing. Judson caught a little bit, but now they're kind of stabilized right now. You know,
So-
Jeff hides things.
The last time around the track, Jeff Dinda ran a 32.4. Judson Curtis ran a 32.5. He ran a 10th quicker than one of the faster guys on the racetrack, at least in that last stint, that last lap.
So I think he's got a lot in the bank. I think next season we're going to have seen some issues with that guy. You know, he's going to be quick. And we're going to be talking about him a lot in the broadcast because he's going to be fast. I mean, he has a son who's fast, but he's going to be fast himself. And I can't wait to see the day of him running hard. But he's getting caught by Judson Curtis now. They're a 10th apart.
35 is going to try to roll that high lane, see if he can get a fender in. 84 sticks to the bottom, is going to bring it up to the wall. 35 is going to have a big run here on the backstretch.
He's still trying. He's really trying to get to him, but going to the bottom with him while he goes to the middle, he's not going to be able to clear that. Actually, he might. Look like the 84 ran up the track and burnt off some speed.
Remember what I was saying earlier, fresher tires, the bottom line is going to be the place to go. It's going to be the shortest way around the track, and you're going to be able to carry more speed on entry when these tires are fresh. 35 sideways. 35 sideways. He's still loose. Let's see if he can keep it around, and the yellow flag's out.
He stopped on track. That's always going to bring out a yellow flag when somebody stops on track. But, I mean, what else was he going to do? He can't continue trying to save that car because that runs the risk of hitting the outside wall or anything like that. He's got to preserve his equipment. So that's nothing wrong on him.
Look who was right in that frame, the 73 of John Crosby, your lucky dog candidate.
And he is ready for that situation. He's happy that happened. That's exactly what he wanted. He wanted to make sure. And look at him. He goes right past them, right next to the 84. He is primed and ready for that lucky dog position.
Now, I don't think we're going to see any takers. Their fuel window is roughly about 40 laps, 40 to, let's say, 45 laps. So I don't think we're going to see any takers here as we are about 45 laps to go.
Now, while we're
and I stand corrected.
Oh, we see a lot of guys going to pit road. While we're under caution, let's go ahead and talk about our sponsor for right now, TRN Racing Designs. We've got a couple drivers out there. Ratfink sponsored the last week, so we're going to highlight both teams. We're going to talk about both those groups of guys who use those design studios. Brandon Hinton is a TRN guy. He's now going to take over the lead. Jonathan Geis is going to be in P3. Tyler Waltz, Ratfink guy, get designed by Chuck Burley and by himself. Perfect group. And then we're going to talk about Todd Perrant, Ratfink guy as well. Tom Ringer, another Ratfink guy, he dropped down more down the running order. Charles Connor, he was designed by TRN Designs as well. So our two design studios that have sponsored the two last weeks are making themselves known and putting themselves in the top 10.
Now, while we're, also under caution, we're talking about, the design studios. Let's see if we can get some close-up shots as we go through the field and check out some of these sweet paint schemes we're out here running tonight.
Oh, let's see if our producers got that set up because it would be great. Let's start with our race leader, the number 5 car. So number 5 car, he makes his own paint schemes. That's Hinton Motorsports, and those things look absolutely amazing. I love that brick layout on it. Then we've got Jonathan Geis in the 32. Oh my gosh, absolutely beautiful with those spec maps on it, everything like that. Let's hit Todd Perrant now. Todd Perrant, new colors, new look. It's looking gorgeous, perfect in every way. I can't blame it. 54, absolutely beautiful. Love those colors. Kind of Kyle Larson-esque. I'm going to let you talk about him now, Hunter Davis.
I mean, you're pretty much hitting the nail on the head. I just wanted to highlight, some of the awesome design artists that we have out here. These guys put so much time. Looking at the 68 of Tom Ringer's design in that green, 67 of Charles Connor running that Little Village Candle Company. You got the 4 of Chuck Burley, one of the main designers for Ratfink Racing Designs in that 4 car.
These guys are absolutely gorgeous, man. They know what they're doing, and that's gonna be all your top 10 race designs aside from Sean Dion, who is in the 10th place position. He is another
So,
Rat Fink guy who has some pretty good designs. It's perfect, man. I love
sorry
it.
to
Look at
cut you
that.
off here. We are now 1 to green. Lights on the pace car on are off. The 84 of Jeff Dinda is going to be starting there on the outside line. Let's see if he can get a good restart here. He's got the 69 of Todd Perrant starting behind him. 5 of Brandon Hinton going to lead this field back to the green flag.
I didn't know if Charles Connor could make his way back towards the front, but starting P6, that's going to be a great benefit for him. But look at the 84. Oh my gosh, Jeff Dinda P2 right now. Let's see what he can do out there. Oh my gosh, he's running an amazing race.
54 came over the radio and said, good save. Sounds like somebody got a little bit of loose there coming off the exit of 2.
Look at this. The 54 is running that middle line. He's going to try and carry momentum. Is Jeff Diamond going to lead his first laps today? I don't know, but if he runs that high side real quick and dives up on him, he might have the chance to. He's actually going to go to the middle line. He's looking after Brandon Hinton, one of our top performers in the next gen, but he's got Todd Perrant, another top performer, right there on him.
This wouldn't be his first laps led. He was leading a few laps there in the truck race that we were running last weekend.
You are right. He did do that. That was perfect. But this is a commentated broadcast, so I would love to scream Jeff Dinda to the lead. And, you know, he's just being smart. I mean, we're looking at him right now. He's just being smart. He doesn't want to cause any issue. He doesn't want to wreck his car. He doesn't want to put himself in a bad spot. But he's also trying to maintain position. And, you know, that's why I consider him one of the most respectful people out there, because he could race a little bit differently, but he's not. And look how respectful he's out there. But Tyler Waltz, P3, our pole sitter who spun originally.
Now side by side with his teammate, the 69. 69 is going to be forced to run up next to the wall. 54 is going to stay on the bottom. Let's see who has the momentum on the exit of turn number 2.
One thing I like about that Rat Fink team is when they get next to each other, they don't care that they're teammate. They're going for positions. They battle back on each other. And so them fighting like that, they might not realize it. It's kind of hurting them a little bit. It's allowing Jeff Dinda to get away from them and allowing Jonathan Geist to catch up to Todd Perrant.
Yeah, good little battle there. Looks like the 54 is able to get around the 69. His teammate. Oh, car hard off into the inside. Spinning around. Caution is going to come out.
It's going to be a yellow flag. Who was that?
13, Tanner Honeycutt.
You know, Tanner's had a hard time tonight, so let's see what happens. It's that bump you talked about. Looks like he caught that bump.
Yeah, this race is just not going his way. He's currently sitting 2 laps down. He is in the picture for the playoffs. He's somehow going to have to gain those 2 laps back and start racing that 3 car of Sean Dion and the 67 of Charles Connor. We're going to step away to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Mike, I know you think your truck is totally sick, but this is what I think of your precious 4x4 hang out all day with your stupid friend's truck! Push it!
And welcome back after that quick commercial break. We did have some pit stops that cycled through. Looks like they are going to be good to fuel to the end of the race if they pitted right here. However, 35, Judson Curtis, 68, Tom Ringer, 4, Chuck Burley, 59, Matthew Tennant, and the 99 of Christian Clark elected not to pit.
Yeah, that's going to send a lot of our front runners backwards. You've got the 54 Tyler Waltz, he's in P7. You've got the 84 Jeff Dinda, he's back in 8th. Todd Perrant is back in 9th. These are guys who were competing in the top 4.
Looks like the first car on fresh tires is going to be that 5 car of Brandon Hinton. Currently running on that outside lane in the 6th place position.
Yeah, that's going to put him in an interesting scenario. Do you think 10 laps of difference is going to make something happen today?
I don't know if we'll necessarily see it on the short run, but I bet we'll see it on the long run if we go green to the end.
I know that's what they're all hoping on, is going green to the end, but that's still 36 laps before they can make it to the green flag.
Here we are going into turn number 4, 35 on the inside lane, 68 on the outside lane. As the pace car is about to pull off, we'll go back to green flag racing. Into the restart zone we go, and the 35 up through the gears. Here we go.
.35 is going to get a nice launch on these guys, and then he's going to move his way out. Quick announcement real quick. Just keep in mind that tomorrow we'll have our legacy trucks. And oh, we got the 69 round. We're going to talk about the 69. He just spun. That should be a caution.
We do have a yellow flag out. Sounds like the 84 and the 32 got together right there behind the 69 as our lucky dog candidate. 13 of Tanner Honeycutt will now move to 1 lap down. We are 3 wide going into turn number 1. The car on the high side backs out. We now go 3 wide with the 84. Let's see what happens here on exit. 69 clubs up, and he just gets sideways around. Looks like the damage might be minimal there on that 69 car. He had a little bit of contact with the wall, but I don't expect it to be a race-ending damage. We now have a taker on... Nope, and a fake out. 68 of Tom Ringer is going to remain out. We do have a few takers. The 69 of Todd Perrant is going to get that right front damage fixed. 32 of Jonathan Geis is going to also follow down pit road. And we're going to step away to a quick commercial break. We will be right back. And welcome back after that quick commercial break as we are now about to go back green flag racing. And back to green flag racing. 35 Judson Curtis, 68 Tom Ringer. 35 is going to clear the 68 there on the low line, and here we go into turn number 1. '73 has recuperated from his penalties earlier and is now running back up in the 6th place position, is currently battling the 5 car Brandon Hinton for position. Looks like the 73 is going to run the high lane. He's going to get the fender in on the high lane. 5 car is going to be forced to go low. Let's see who has the momentum here in turns 1 and 2. 4 car hard into the outside wall. He's going to keep it up there. Doesn't look like he's going to contact anybody, but he does look like he lost steering. He's going to safely get it off the track. We are going to stay green as he's going to try to limp this thing back down to pit road. We got a good little 3-wide battle here with the 5 car Brandon Hinton, 73 of John Crosby, and the 59 of Matthew Tennant. 5 car is going to shut the door on the 73. Says he does not want to go 3 wide. He's going to stick to the bottom, give the 59 that top lane. '73 says, if you won't give me the middle, I will take the bottom. 73 of John Crosby now 3 wide. He's going to clear the 5 as the 5 is going to back out of it. Now the 73 is going to go under attack against the 59 car for the 4th place position. And he is going to clear him heading out of turn number 4. Next car in his sights is that 68 of Tom Ringer. One thing to make note of, the 35 of Judson Curtis has not driven away from the 68. The 68 has pretty much stayed right on his bumper that entire time. About a 0.2 of a second gap. As he continues to close the gap, 68's going to have a big run here on the exit of turn number 4, right on that rear bumper of the 35 car. Looks like the 4 car is coming back down to pit road, possibly to get some more damage repaired. I'm assuming that hit was pretty hard there on that right front. You get the 54 of Tyler Waltz slowly moving up through the field. He just passed the 5 car Brandon Hinton for the 5th place position. Looks like the 99 of Christian Clark wants to get on this action as he is now to the rear bumper of the 5 car. '54 is now attacking the 59 car of Matthew Tennant. He started on the pole earlier, so he definitely has some speed as he's going to roll the bottom line, try to stay side by side with the 59 car heading into turn 1 and 2, see if he can clear him on the backstretch. 59 is going to run all the way up next to the wall, makes a little bit of contact, doesn't seem to lose too much momentum, but it looks like he might be able to clear the 54 here on the backstretch. As we are now 105 laps complete, we are 25 laps to go. '54 car is not willing to give up just yet as Tyler and Matthew are now side by side once again heading into turn number 1. 54 with a huge dive into the corner. He's going to try to slide it up right in front of the 59 car, and it looks like he will successfully complete that pass. Five car of Brandon Hinton is next up on that list as he is now to the rear bumper of the 59 car of Matthew Tennant, trying to secure that 5th place position. 35 of Judson Curtis has now pulled out to about a 0.3 of a second gap over second place Tom Ringer, who Tom is currently, if I'm not mistaken, is currently leading, yes he is, our point series by 9 points over the 5 car of Brandon Hinton, heading into 1 race to go for the Next Gen Playoff Series. '73 of John Crosby, who was involved in that incident on pit road. He looped it around there on entry and then ended up getting a speeding penalty as well, going 1 lap down, has now worked his way back up to the 3rd place position as he is riding this high line right next to the wall, trying to get side by side with that 68 car. But the 54th Tyler Waltz is not going to make it easy for him as he is now pulled right up to his bumper, crossing the stripe. We are now 21 laps to go. Looks like most of the field is now single filed out. We don't have a lot of side-by-side racing. Our closest cars are the ones up here running in the 1st through 5th place position. Brandon Hinton being a 2.5 off our leader in 35, Judson Curtis. The 13 car over the radio says, "I am trying to hold my position." He is trying to get his lap back as the 54 car and the 5 car have gotten around the 73 car of John Crosby. Looks like he may have burned up his tires a little bit, working his way back to the front of the field after that yellow. It looks like the 13 car may have had a little issue there with the 99 of Christian Clark. He's going to secede that position as the 67 of Charles Connor now looking to the inside of the 13.
And, you know, these lap down guys, they're battling hard. They're trying to get back there. There's only 15 laps to go. They want to hope that if a caution comes out, they can capitalize on the position. But it looks like it's going to be Curtis, Ringer, and Waltz. Again, Waltz spun on lap 1, and look at him rebounding to P3.
Yeah, what a rebound there for that 54 car as he has now battled his way back up. Looks like the 73 may be a little bit off pace. I think the tires are... Oh, wrecking.
Caution.
13 car of Tanner Honeycutt. Sound like he was involved. 99 of Christian Clark and the 13 of Tanner Honeycutt.
Yeah, I see the 99 and the 13 stop right there. It's going to look like it's some issue. We're going to look at this replay right here. 13 sailing by on the outside and then just snaps loose and the 99 just gets collected. Man, that's just unfortunate for the 99.
Let's see if we can look at this from the 13's perspective, man. He was rolling that high lane. He had a lot of momentum and then it just snapped.
I think it's that bump you spoke about before. There's a bump there on the exit of corners, and it just snapped him and sent him there, and that allows Chuck Burley to get the lucky dog. I don't know. Look at him fighting it. 13 of Tanner Honeycutt. Tanner Honeycutt has now succeeded this race
and will no longer be continuing. This is going to drastically hurt his points race as we are closing in on the regular season of this Next Gen series.
Yeah, he's going to have to go into the next race with anticipations to win, as the entire field is going to hit pit road and get serviced right now.
Yeah, this pit road is going to be busy. Let's see who is going to win this out. As such a massive hit for the 99. I know the 13 nor the 99, neither of them wanted to see that happen. They were both having some decent racing out here today, so I know that's definitely a heartbreaker for both of them.
We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break and come back with one lap to go, and then we'll have a chat about this because we're going to be within 10 laps to go.
My girl and two boys, we both getting old. It won't be much longer before we in a home. We go to Walgreens, we both got bad knees. I bet you don't know much about these things. But once a month when Social Security comes, it's the only time of month where we're having fun. Yeah, we fancy like White Castles on a Tuesday night. Yeah, the double cheese slider ain't nothing much finer with some onion rings on the side too. 2 hours later, gotta go boom, get you some petrol when you get home. Gonna be in the bathroom on your own. It's a St. Louis party that we do once a month. Hey, this how we do what we do. Old life. Where my chicken? I don't know. Where it? I don't know. Don't be too long. You know I'm fat. It sure don't is. Forget the sides, rice and gravy and biscuits. Girl, hurry, cause I'm hungry. Woo. My kitchen's clean, ain't no mess. Nah. I got the chicken straight from Food for Less. We're eating chicken in the kitchen. Don't be lazy, pass the gravy, cause you know that it's tasty.
Welcome back after that quick commercial break. We're going to have some interesting racing here to the end. As it looks like my co-broadcaster is slowly starting to learn the meaning of the word clear.
I have to learn it every time. And to be honest with you, our producer, he may not realize, but sometimes I'm just screwing with him. As we go green flag.
Tom Ringer leading the field to the green, 35 to his outside. His teammate 54 right behind him. As the 68 gets a large jump, 54 is not going to be side by side with the 73 car heading into turn number 1.
But did you see that right on the restart? For some reason, the 35 backed up into the 73's nose. That's going to definitely put the 73 at a disadvantage, but he's still gaining position. That's the car they don't want to see gaining on them. You know, look at the 73 of John Crosby. He's looking, not enough space. He's going to have to succeed that position.
Car around, 59, Matthew Tennant. Hard into that inside wall.
Is that a caution? That is a caution. We've got a caution. Homestead Miami does not have enough runoff space to where you don't get cautions. They only have it in the corners. So you're definitely going to get a caution on the straightaways when somebody spins. 73 is right there tucked under the 68. He is ready to get going again, and he is looking for a chance to get back towards the front. We are going to head to a quick commercial break and get ready for another short sprint.
Ship my pants? Right here? Ship my pants, you're kidding.
You can ship your pants right here.
You hear that? I can ship my pants for free.
Wow, I just may ship my pants.
Yeah, ship your pants. Billy, you can ship your pants too.
I can't wait to ship my pants, Dad.
I just shipped my pants, and it's very convenient.
Very convenient.
I just shipped my drawers.
I just shipped my nightie.
I just shipped my bed. If you can't find what you're looking for in store, we'll find it at Kmart.com right now and ship it to you for free.
the river mouth, the bears catch only the tastiest, most tender salmon. Which is exactly what we at John West want. John West endured the worst to bring you the best.
And we're back, Hunter. We are on the back straightaway. We're going to have about 7 laps left before this race goes green. Let's go ahead and call out here real quick. We've got Crosby in the P3 position behind Tom Ringer in P1, Judson Curtis P2. Then we've got in P4, Tyler Waltz, as well as in P5, Charles Connor. Then we've got Todd Perrant bringing it up in the I don't even know, 7. There you go. Let's see how he goes, Hunter. What do you think?
Back to green, 68, 73. Oh, 67 a little loose there. He's going to pull down to the inside as he spins the tires.
Now the 67 needs to just beat the 3 car, and the 3 car is pretty far behind him. So he's doing a good job. Even with that slip up there, he is doing great. But look who's breaking away. Judson Curtis going to battle John Crosby in the 73. Crosby's going to go to the outside. He's looking to sail around and get back towards Tom Ringer.
35 and Judson Curtis is going to clear the 73 car on the exit of 4.
I don't know about that. The 73 is battling back on the inside, and just like you said, you were actually right. He's going to beat him off of that corner, and he's going to hold strong as the 73 now falls into the clutches of the 54, Tyler Waltz.
As we are now 6 laps to go as a 68 car crosses that stripe. We're going to do it 6 more times to decide who's going to be the race winner of tonight's event.
Now we've got to talk about this. Remember that Sean Dion was 1 point off of Charles Connor. He is going to end up 5 points behind him if Charles Connor can finish in that P5 position. So we've got a nice playoff battle going here, but Tom Ringer is definitely under threat. The 3 cars behind him all know how to get around this track fast, and they're going to be looking at a way to move forward. Oh, Todd Perrant has some kind of issue, loses 2 positions.
68's going to do the smart thing. He's going to take away the line that he sees the 35 running and try to keep that distance as much as he can at a 0.5 of a second gap. 68 low, 35 high. Let's see who carries the momentum here.
35 is really good on that high line. He knows how to really carry that momentum, but he is half a second off of him. So that could breed a kind of problem as we're 4 laps to go. He's really got to kick it into high gear and get moving.
Look at this close-up view of the 35 here, running just inches from that wall, trying to get back to that rear bumper of the 68. He's got a lot of ground to make up with a few laps to do it.
While we're watching these leaders, I'm going to keep an eye on this playoff battle. Charles Connor is in the P5 position. He's holding strong on Brandon Hinton, and that is going to put him a couple positions in front of Sean Dion. Playoffs are going to get a little bit spicy. And look at that. Crosby now going after the 54. He's going to the outside, but he hits the wall and can't make it happen.
About a half a lap earlier, the 54 car got a little loose there, was able to recuperate, and that allowed the 73 car to pull up to his bumper.
73 is going to brush it up against the wall again. He's got to really calm down and figure it out. But again, those playoff battles, Charles Connor is doing what he needs to right now We're going to have an interesting shakeup to points. We're definitely going to look at that next time we come back in Auto Club, and we're going to highlight that very heavily because that 67 of Charles Connor is making it work the way he needs to.
As the 68 car is coming out of here on turn number 4, taking the white flag, we are now 1 lap to go. Brought to you by TRN Racing and Design.
And, look at that. The 68 is trying to hold strong, but Judson Curtis is trying to maintain that P2 position. But he's got that 54, Tyler Waltz, who started on the pole, hasn't even actually led a lap. He is trying to come back to P2 position, but he's not going to, and it looks like exit of turn 4. We're going to have Tom Ringer taking home the win today. Judson Curtis, P2. Tyler Waltz, P3. Then we're going to have John Crosby, P4. Charles Connor snagging a P5 position.
Yeah, what a phenomenal end to this race. I know, Tom is currently leading our points, and he wants to carry this momentum heading into next week's race at Auto Club and then following up the playoffs.
The way you want to carry your momentum is by winning races, and I think Tom has made that statement here today. He has definitely shown them that he is aiming to win this championship. He lost it by 1 point last season to Brandon Hinton, and he is not going to let that happen again.
As we get all the Rat Fink cars up here to the stripe, show off those phenomenal looking paint schemes so they can spread out for some pictures here after the 68s dominating Homestead Miami Speedway victory.
And we're going to get our P3 finisher here, Tyler Waltz. Man, how was that race for you, especially the guy who started in the pole and had that initial incident? What did you do to rebound to get a P3 position here today?
Hey, you want to talk about a real head in your hands moment. Finally get a good qualifying run in and then don't even make one corner before you're in the back.
Yeah, it was definitely an unfortunate. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was saying that was definitely an unfortunate start to the race, but I mean, let's talk about the resiliency you had throughout this race. It was definitely rough. You were starting on the pole position, you had an incident, sent you to the rear of the field, multiple laps down, and you recuperated to a 3rd place finish. Walk us through how you did that.
It was so early. I did go through my fast repair real quick. I think I had like 2 or 3 minutes of damage, so I just decided at the beginning and figured there'd be a couple cautions. I just had to repair my damage and then just sat in the back, waited for the damage to get fully repaired, and then made my confident in how the car felt.
Honestly, that first incident you had really didn't show like your characteristic as a driver. I don't think I've ever seen you have any kind of issue like that. Did that have any kind of discouraging feature to you? Did you ever feel like you couldn't do anything here because of that situation?
Just for a couple seconds when you're like, man, I can't believe I did that. But then I qualified on pole for a reason. I was pretty quick, put in a lot of time this week to figure out the track and what lines to run, how deep into a run, when you start moving up high. But
so
no,
let's talk about the playoff points picture. You're currently tied with Mark Holloway prior to this race for the 5th place position. So you're very close to locking yourself in. That 3rd place finish might have locked you in. But how are we feeling going into next week's race here at Auto Club and then following up with the playoffs?
Same mentality as I've had all season. I've put myself behind, missing the first 2 races of the season, but we're just, keep grinding away, keep looking for that first points win, and keep working hard. Got a lot of good tracks I'm confident and comfortable with coming up for the playoffs, so I think we're hitting our stride at the perfect time.
Well, Tyler, congratulations on that 3rd place finish tonight. It was good to see you, express your resiliency out there and work your way back to the front of this field.
Appreciate it, guys. Great broadcast.
Let's go ahead and get our 2nd place finish Judson Curtis in the 35 machine, rounding out in second place. Judson, walk us through this race for you.
Man, I don't even know how to drive these cars, man. I don't know how to shift them. I just put the thing up by the wall and kind of let the air do its thing, and just tried to keep the nose clean like I always do. Congrats, Tom, winning the race. He put on a show tonight.
No, Justin, I talked to you before this race, and you said you didn't have a lot of practice on this kind of track, and you didn't know how to, really understand it, and it was kind of popping out to you. How did you navigate learning this track as well as racing other competitors throughout this race?
As far as the track goes, I'm pretty comfortable always up by the wall, so that's always the number one thing for me. I felt like obviously the low line was probably the way to go. I just could not figure it out. I tried there for a little bit, and the car would just snap on me, and I think I brought out the caution there actually, spinning it out maybe once or twice. I can't even remember, but the low line I couldn't get it down, so I tried to stay up high and just to keep the tires clean and the nose clean and put it up by the wall.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I saw you had that one spin, right? And it was an absolute phenomenal save, regardless of if it brought out the caution. You were facing the inside wall and somehow managed it to keep it out of everybody else and the wall. So, that was phenomenal to see that. But, what was your strategy here other than, maintaining the top? How big of a factor were tires into it, or were you more conserving, pushing? What was your game plan going on?
Definitely conserving them tires a little bit. Obviously, you want to. I feel like with these next gen cars, the bigger wheels, that feels like there's a lot of grip, but it ain't necessarily there. So it's a little deceiving there. So I was definitely saving, and that's. I feel like if we had a little bit longer laps there, I maybe would have had something there for Tom, but I don't want to say what if, but the high line was definitely working on the longer run for me. I tried to keep a set of tires there in the pits, and just kind of make sure the truck was full of gas. Put the spoiler out there in the back.
Judson, I know everybody's going to be wanting to try and recruit you. I know you're on your own team, but if you ever jump ship, everybody's going to be excited to have you. Well done on that P2 position. We're going to get into the Tom Ringer driver real quick. And great job there, Judson. You deserve that P2 position for driving hard.
I appreciate it, fellas. And thanks again for having me. And thanks for the host there. It was an amazing race.
Congratulations to Judson Curtis on his second place finish here tonight. Let's get our race winner and current points leader into the booth. Tom, first off, congratulations on that race win here tonight. It was once you got up front, man, there was no catching you. Walk us through how that race went for you.
I was just trying to get a good finish out of it, and I would have took third, fourth, fifth. It didn't matter. But once I went into the pits and I got lucky and got out before everybody, then I thought, well, I got a good chance at this one. So once I got the restarts, I could get a good restart and hug the bottom. And if I had to go to the top line, I would have went to the top line. But I stayed low, and I guess he kind of hit the wall maybe or something and backed off a little bit, and that was all she wrote.
Tom, you were actually battling back in the P3, P4 positions most of the night. Did you think that you didn't have anything for the leaders, like John Crosby or anything like that? Or were you just biding your time?
No, I was fighting it, and I couldn't catch him. And if I did, it would have had to have been a bump and run or something. And I didn't need it. I was pretty content staying where I was at, so I was just kind of running my line. But once it fell in my lap and I got out front, well, you know how it goes.
And this is why we... Go ahead, Hunter. Go ahead and ask your question.
So going into this race, you had a 9-point lead over the 5-car of Brandon Hinton. You're going into Auto Club next week. And, just from earlier this week, you've proven your speed at Auto Club. What is going to be your strategy to secure this regular season points championship?
I am going to do the same thing I always do. Auto Club's a pretty good track for me. Knock on wood, you know how that goes. But if I can get a top 5 out of it, I'll be extremely happy. If I can secure the front row, well, then I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah, we see you up towards the front, Tom. Well done on everything you did. Congratulations on the P1 finish today. You just extended your points lead, even though that's getting wiped away after next week. You definitely set yourself as a playoff contender. Well done.
I appreciate it, guys. And you guys do an awesome job in the booth. And I appreciate everything you guys do.
Once again, congratulations to our race winner, the 68 of Tom Ringer. It's been a phenomenal race out here at Homestead, Miami Speedway. Watching these guys battle through, express their resiliency with all the, with the incidents that we had at the beginning of the race. Some guys ran into trouble in the middle of the race, but still recuperating to make a top 3 finish. Next weekend, we have Auto Club Speedway here on Friday night. So join us there for our regular season finale. Edwin, hit us with your closing comments.
I've got to say, this race was phenomenal. A lot of guys that we didn't think were in contention showed that they had pace. That was absolutely amazing, and we love the consistency. Auto Club is probably going to be a lot of the similar. These guys figuring out the track, understanding the temperature, and understanding the tire wear. It was a great time. Now, Hunter Davis, I appreciate you bringing that analytical analysis to every broadcast. You do it all the time. Now, this race was brought to you by TRN Racing Designs. That is, we've got a lot of groups in the TRN group as well. You got Poltergeist, TRN Designs, Hunter Davis Designs. We do a lot of great paint work out. Well, they do a lot of paint work out there. So I appreciate them sponsoring this race. Damon O'Brien, well done on your superb skills and bringing us this beautiful broadcast. I love it every time. Thank you, Hunter. Thank you, Damon. See ya.